Hello, dear students. I am Samir Velankar and I welcome all of you to this another video on transaction management in DBMS. In this video, we will see the very important properties called ACID properties, which every transaction must satisfy. What is this ACID stands for is A stands for atomicity, C stands for consistency, I stands for isolation, and D stands for durability. Understanding these four properties is very easy, but preserving them is really difficult. And over the years, a lot of methodologies have been derived so that these four properties should be satisfied by every transaction. Let's see the first property, atomicity. Atomicity means there are many operations in the transaction. Then all the operations of a transaction must complete the execution, or none of the operations should run. That means a transaction should run completely or it should not run. What I mean by this? Let's take an example, very small example. Let's say T1 is a transaction and I'm writing in short here. I'm not writing the entire transaction, but T1 is a transaction which transfers some 10,000 rupees 10,000 rupees from account A to account B. This is the transaction. Now just imagine that this transaction starts executing and it reduces the balance of A by 10,000, obviously, because A is transferring money to B. So it does A is equal to A minus 10,000 after reading the value of A, of course. And then something happens, some error occurs, and the transaction fails over here. The transaction fails may be due to power failure, may be due to disk failure. There are a number of reasons. What has happened really is that the transaction has not yet completed properly and the transaction has failed over here. Now, in such case, what should be done? Should we leave the database in this state that A has got reduced by 10,000, but B has not increased by 10,000? This will give wrong result, isn't it? Why this has happened? Due to the partial execution of the transaction. In such case, there is a concept called rollback. What rollback does, if a transaction fails in between somewhere, then are all operations done are cancelled and the database is taken back to the original state. To explain you atomicity, it can be said in one line that either the entire transaction runs or none of them run. Just see this transaction T1. My appeal to all of you is don't see this transaction T2. We are talking about only one transaction T1 and assume that this is running and initially the balance of A is 20,000 and balance of B is, let's say, 30,000 and A is transferring 10,000 to B. And just imagine that read A executes and A becomes A minus 10,000. So A becomes 10,000. And some error occurs at this point and this transaction stops, aborts, or fails. This means that the atomicity is not preserved. This transaction should have managed to complete or it should not run at all. But what has happened is that the transaction has got aborted over here and look at the state. Although A has got reduced by 10,000, B is still 30,000. Isn't it so? In such case, the transaction management system does a rollback. What it will do is it will say, okay, the transaction has not finished entirely. So let me bring this particular database into the previous state in which it was. So whatever changes have been made will be cancelled. That's rollback. So A will be restored back to 20,000. I hope you are getting my point. If the transaction fails somewhere, then it is rolled back. That means as if the transaction has not executed. Or if the transaction completes, Fantastic. Then the database will be in the correct state. So that is what is atomicity. Coming back to acid properties, the second property, by the way, atomicity is taken care by manager module, that is transaction management system. Our DBMS is a system, isn't it? And some program, some part of the software called transaction management module will take care of this particular property, atomicity. Okay. The second property that every transaction should guarantee is consistency. Now, this consistency is obvious. The result generated by transaction must be correct. Oh, who needs a transaction which will complete but will give inconsistent result? We want the result as expected, isn't it? If we manually run the transaction on paper and we know that before the transaction this was the values and after the transaction these should be the values, then those values must be generated. So consistency is obvious, isn't it so? And this should be taken care by application programmer or the user who is designing the transaction. It should not be that the faulty statements which will give inconsistent results are generated. It should not happen, isn't it? Now the third property is very interesting. The third property is isolation property. Now you know that in DBMS, many transactions like T1, T2, T3 up to Tn, many transactions may run concurrently, such that few statements of T1 runs, then maybe T2 takes over, few statements run, and so on. So this interleaving of the operations are done between the transactions, and we call this as concurrent schedule. Now what isolation property says is that if T1 is running concurrently with T2, T3, T4 and Tn, then T1 should not be even aware that the other transactions are executing. That means existence of any number of transactions should not make T1 aware of that there are some transactions running with it. It should be as if that T1 is alone. T1 is the only transaction running, although so many transactions are running. So every transaction feels that it is running in isolation. Each transaction must execute without knowing what is happening in the other transaction. And this is taken care by a special module called concurrency control manager module. Okay, we will come back to this isolation property and how important it is. Okay, but I hope you have understood what is isolation. Last is durability. Durability means suppose some transaction is over, some transaction has finished entirely, it executes all its operations. Then there is a special statement called commit. Now, what this commit means is that whatever changes, whatever updations T1 has done must be finally permanently written back to the database store. Now, whatever changes have been committed are committed finally. And once the commitment has been done to the database, those changes cannot be altered again later. Of course, it can be altered by other transaction, but we just can't open the database store and we can't change the values which have been committed. What it means is that the changes done once by any transactions to the database must be permanent. And the recovery manager module is responsible for preserving this property. Don't you feel that once the transaction has said, okay, I have done these changes and I am now writing it to the data store, I am committing it, then we should have trust in the transaction, and whatever changes have been done, once the commit has been done and the data has been permanently returned to data store, there are no chances that this commit can be rolled back later on. We can actually cancel these changes. It can't happen, because then the very meaning of the word commit will be lost. It will nullify the meaning of commit, isn't it? So that are the four properties, acid properties, which must be followed, preserved by every transaction. When we return in the next video, I will tell you what are the different states in the transaction. Like I will tell you what do you mean by commit, what do you mean by rollback, maybe, rollback, and so on. And these states in the transaction are there in every transaction. Every transaction goes through these states. So see you in the next video. Thank you very much.